fact that this is a room of people who are actually in the field, right there, to make something beautiful happen in the world. And so, today, I'm not just talking to a room full of people who showed up at a conference, I'm talking to a room full of people who can literally change everything. And I'm so happy about that. Today, I'm getting my slides set up, and you can tell I worked really hard on them. It's very important you know my name. So my name is Brad, and I have something important to share with you today. In fact, it's so important, not only did I handwrite the word important, I recorded my voice saying the word important. Important. Because this room, my mission in life is to make sure that every kid in the world knows they're important. And then also, since you're former kids, you at some point were a kid, so you count too. I want to make sure you know that you're important as well. And that we have something really incredible we can do. Because we live in a world right now where things can seem really dark. We have so many things that are going on that are troubling. And I want us to not be fooled by all the news and negativity, and remember that the world still pulses with possibility. We don't hear that enough. We don't see that enough. We don't have enough people talking about what's possible. Instead, there's so much about the way things are, or people telling it the way it is, when we really just want to hear, how can we make things as they could be? And I think today, this is not just a room full of people at a conference. This is a bunch of people who are possibilitarians. And so this is, I want to begin your Q experience with this rally cry that it's time for possibilitarians to unite. Anybody who believes that things could be possible. And yeah! I get to visit lots of classrooms, and I always leave inspired by what they've taken. You go to some schools, and it's just, maybe your school's this way, it's just a bunch of cement blocks, and they put them together, and it's literally the most uninspired design ever for a building. They're like, let's just put the kids in there and teach them. Let's just put them away from the, And we do this to grown-ups too. We get cubicles, and we hide the grown-ups away in boxes. Just hide, go. And we kind of put them in these cement boxes. But you guys, you see this space, and it doesn't even matter. You turn it into this runway. You turn it into this place where imagination is cultivated, where creativity is sparked, where hope is unearthed, where some of the kids come from a place where at home they don't have a grown-up who tells them that they're important, and then you look them in the eyes, and you may not even use the word, but you show it just by who you are, letting that kid know they matter and they have a place at the table in the world, and letting them know that something incredible is possible. Now, how can we be possibilitarians? I've been on this quest to find out, well, how can I surround myself with possibilitarians? So I've been spending a lot of time with kids, but then also I spent time creating a series called Kid President. And the whole idea behind that was, could we get the world to listen to kids? And could I present an image to the world that says, hey, here's how much kids' voices matter. And an image to the world that showed them, hey, kids, listen, there's a grown-up listening to what you have to say, and I'm transmitting it out to the world. And then in doing so, invited a lot of people into this imagination, where we mailed magic, it was a soup can, but I told them it was a magic can phone. And we mailed it to people and said, you want to play? And they did. We talked to President Barack Obama. We talked to Michelle Obama, Tom Hanks, and we just kept calling him by the wrong name. We said, Tim Hanks. And it's really funny when you see somebody who's won an Oscar be like, that's not my... Okay, never mind. We've got to connect to so many people and invite them into this imaginative world. And let them know that maybe something better and brighter is possible. So today, I want to share with you a couple of things. It's a preview. Here are things Brad might say today. The time my brother-in-law thought he was being stalked by Pharrell Williams. Flowers and singing to them, is that a thing? The story of an explorer who discovered treasure in a nursing home. Plus, why the mailman made me cry a few weeks ago. Yeah, I know, right? But not only that, while we're in the list-making mode, I'd like to share with you a few things I can't do, because this is a room full of people who do incredible things. You're very smart. You have degrees. You've read books. You've written books. I touched the book once. This is a few things I can't do, just to get that out of the way. I'm not a professional. I can't do math, eat with a fork, athletics, pronounce GIF correctly, organizing things, roll my tongue, work heavy machinery, go somewhere without getting lost, Excel spreadsheets, button shirts properly, open simple boxes, remember passwords, yoga without laughing, open a talk without saying something embarrassing, remember if I lock the door, even. There's just so many things that I'm unable to do, but there's something I'm trying really hard to do, and that's be a better grown-up. Like, how can I be the best grown-up possible? How can I be who I needed when I was younger? How can I be somebody that if I time traveled somehow and met my 10-year-old self, he would go, yes, great job. Change the shirt. Like, I want to be a better grown-up. So my life has been titled Operation Be a Better Grown-Up. And in doing so, I'm learning that it has a whole lot to do, and you guys know this because you're smart, it has a whole lot to do with being more like a child. And not being childish, because the world is plenty childish, but being more childlike. How can we be more childlike? To live with wisdom and wonder and whimsy like a child does. To see things the way they do. To be on a quest for wisdom. To be learning. To be in a quest for wonder where your eyes are anew, where every day is new. We were at the grocery store with my kids, and you know what? They saw something that was totally ordinary, and it flipped them out. Like my wife sent me this picture, and she was like, what do you think our kids are looking at? And this is Miles and Matilda. And the two of them are in the grocery store, and they were just delighted. And she's like, what are they looking at? I was like, I don't know. And she sent me another picture. What are they looking at? I was like, I have no idea. A Zeppelin that flew in the building, a unicorn, something amazing, obviously. It was like they were captured, enraptured by this. And what was it? This. That I've been doing this. Like, how can you do that? I want that. Like, I'm sort of jealous of the way they can see something so ordinary. My son has me doing this now where he notices faces on things. And so I've begun noticing faces where I'm like, oh, he'll see a face with like screws in a wall. He's like, a face, Daddy? And the other day I saw one in a urinal and I was like, I'm going to take a picture. No. I can't do this. But it's been great because my eyes are open to seeing things that I didn't before. Like that. So I think living where you're on the cusp of possibility, as a possibilitarian, you see things differently. You see them like a child does. One of my heroes, Fred Rogers, good grief, I can't even talk about him. I get cheered up. I did this thing where every time I was interviewed, I would mention Mr. Rogers. And I just constantly was like, Mr. Rogers said this, Mr. Rogers said this. So then the Fred Rogers Center called me. And I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like, no, we want you to come. And I got to go to the archives, and I got to hug Mrs. Rogers. And you know what she did? She booped my nose. And she grabbed my face, and she said, you are special. And I was just crazy enough to believe her. It meant the world. But at the archives, I was just weepy, and I'm going in, and they had these books that he had written, and so many scripts from the show, and the puppets, and I'm touching everything. And there was a book that was a medical journal, and it was for medical professionals who performed surgeries on children in their eyes. And I can't even say the word right? Ophthalmologist, is that it? Yeah. And so it was this medical journal, and it was really, heavy medical stuff that I didn't understand. And they had asked Fred Rogers to write the preface. And why would you get him to write this really technical book, this intro? The same reason why would you get a pale, weird man who makes YouTube videos to introduce this? I don't know. But they had Mr. Rogers write this intro, and the very first line, like, what is he going to say to these medical professionals that would help them? What could he possibly say to them? And this is what he said. You were once a child, too. to begin with that, okay, I know you have all of this information about what a human being's eye does. I know you have all of these skills that you went to school for and degrees, and you have all of these things you've learned and strategies, but can you erase all that and just pause and think about this, that you were once a child too? What was it like to be in the hospital? What would you want from your caregiver? What would you want for them to say about your eyes, to do for your eyes? What would you want them? What would you want? And I actually asked about that line, and there was a wonderful lady there who actually worked on the neighborhood show, this head of sheriff, and she would go through the scripts and help them, and she had actually helped write a piece of that intro to the journal. And she said she wrote this giant technical thing about children and remembering things and all, and Fred scratched through the entire paragraph and nailed it down to those 6 words. You were once a child too. That he had this gift of taking something very complex and simplifying it to be the most true thing. So for you in your classroom, can you ask that question of yourself? Can you remember that today and every day, that you were once a child too?
Important.
That you can remember. And so, in seeing the world like a child, you know that there's nearly 3 billion people in the world under the age of 20. And a lot of people see that number and they freak out because, oh no, there's more of them. Like, hide. You guys are possibilitarians. You see that number and you're like, yes, there is hope. Yes. What if every single one of them knew how much they mattered? Ooh, I wish they were in my classroom. Oh, what if we could help every single child realize how important they are? I was once a child, great shorts and legs. I grew up in a small town in Tennessee, a very small town. It was dapper, handsome, freckled. I once murdered someone apparently for an Easter egg. But I had all of this weird creativity I didn't know what to do with. I would film myself in my room reading songs, reading poetry about cats and girls who wouldn't call me back, and making like hours and hours of footage. I would ask my teacher, do I have to write an essay? Like, can I make a video? And so they said yes. And I began to realize that maybe this weird creativity could be used for something productive. And it was my 4th grade teacher who saw me not as a hopeless case, but she looked at me and said, you have a different way of thinking, and I want to help you. And she did. We got to release a book, and it became a New York Times bestseller, and I dedicated it to her because it's all her fault. And she actually let me know that maybe it was possible that this weird kid from a small town could impact the world. I love Disney movies, and I'm embarrassing myself right now, but thank you. You're my friend. I like that everything is possible in those. You see the dreamers, and they begin with their I Want song, you know? Every Disney song has that, like, bells, like, I want adventure in the great white somewhere. Or, like, Ariel's, like, I want to be where the people are. Cruella's like, I want to murder all the puppies and make close to them. That wasn't a song, right? No, okay, good. Good job, Disney. But they have this thing they want, and they sing it, and everything seems possible. And there's this joy in a musical where it seems like anything in the world could happen. And so I want you to think about this as you launch into this next few days of how could you actually live a life where anything's possible, where your life is like a musical. Like your life the musical. Yeah! A little too long of a beat. Okay, so your life the musical. How could you unlock these songs that are inside you and inside the people around you, the children that you're with? How could you make life more musical without hopefully being super annoying? Because there's some people who don't like musicals. I get it, because sometimes it's a little weird when people break into song. Step 1 of this is to sing. I remember growing up in a small town, there was an old man, we would walk by his house, and he would sit on his porch and he would sing. And I was like, oh, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? And his wife told us, oh, he's singing to the flowers. He's helping them grow. And I was like, is that true, Mom? She's like, yeah, you can sing to flowers and it helps them grow. And I thought, like, for years, that's one of those things, you hear all this stuff when you're a kid, and then you think about it later, like, wait, were they lying to me, or did that really happen? Like, is this, like, is the tooth fairy a thing? Like, I don't know. Like, you go start Googling, you're like, okay, good, glad I didn't ask anybody. But the flower thing, it really bugged me. I began to, like, wonder, is that a thing? Like, singing to flowers, would that make them grow? And I found, like, this trail of things where some people had studied it to see if the musicality would, like, unlock growth, it would make something happen. And I would constantly, like, think about that old man all the time, and him singing, and it just thoroughly confusing me, even to this day. Because you can't necessarily bank on how people are going to respond to your song. Like, I posted some videos online, and some people really resonated with them. Some people were offended by them. Some people thought they were a grand political statement. Some people thought whatever. You go to the comment section, and you die a little bit. But then, you just keep singing. We were at an event one time, and Robbie and I love to just sing in the car on the way to things, act like it's just being as ridiculous as possible. It's a contest to be the most ridiculous. And we were in this fit where we were obsessed with Pharrell and the song Happy. Like everybody in the world was. It had taken over the world. And we were constantly listening to Happy. And then we're at an event, and Pharrell Williams is there. And I'm like, that's Pharrell. And Robbie and I had been separated because he's off in his room. I had gone off to do some work. And so I was like, we've got to find a way to meet Pharrell. And then so I find this lady, she works for him, and she says, oh, he loves your videos. I'm like, he's seen something I made? What? And she's like, yeah, he'd love to meet you guys. And then so I was like, okay, so let's do this. And then I go to find Robbie. Meanwhile, Robbie is in his hotel room on it had this balcony thing. It's this crazy nice hotel room. He's on the balcony, and he sees somebody across the way waving at him. And then he immediately goes, stranger danger, and runs inside. And then he comes running in, he's locking the door, and his mom is like, my mother-in-law, she's going, Ron, what's wrong? And he's like, there's a man, he has a gun, and he's trying to get me, and he's like, this big, long story. She's like, oh, okay, that's weird. And then he calls me, and he's like, man, there's this guy who's super weird and creepy. I was like, Robbie, I don't care, like, Pharrell wants to meet us. And he's like, okay, let's go do it. We go downstairs, and I'm like, it's Pharrell. And Robbie goes, it's the guy, stranger danger. No! And then they got their picture. It was this really special moment. And Pharrell's like, yeah, you really seem to be weirded out by me. And he's like, I thought you had a gun. But no, I didn't. I'm just Pharrell. So you can never quite know how you're going to be perceived or how you're going to be received in the world, but you sing anyway. And I've been learning that when you sing anyway, you begin to realize maybe what's best is to actually sing what's in my heart. That's what the Disney characters are doing. They're singing what they actually want, what's deep down inside them. But how do you find that? And it takes digging deep in a mind. It takes like going into this, I began to make a map. And it's the Mines of Hustle is this place you have to go to search for diamonds. And they're not like money, it's a diamond of heart. When you really begin to search inside, you find this heart. You have something really special to share with the world. And in order to do that, you sort of need a compass too. So, and I think that the explorers most capable have a compass unbreakable. Like you have this compass that guides where you go and where you're going to go. So then I made a map of this whole thing, and I called it the Maker's Map. And I began to send them out to different people and sharing them in classrooms. And because it really was just something to help myself. Because there's so many dangerous places in the creative journey. Like if you really want to make something that's from the heart, it can be treacherous because there's lots of places. There's Inspiration Island, where hopefully you feel like that's where you are today. You're at this place where everything's inspiring. but you can't live there. You can't stay there. You can't live off conference food all the time. Like, you have to go out into the world and actually apply this stuff. This is like the group huddle for the football game. You actually have to go out on the field and play. So Inspiration Island, but then there's this water you have to cross, the Sea of Insecurity, which is, I have a boat there that I live on. It's this place you have to cross to get to the next place, which is Doubt Valley. And on Doubt Valley is a place where you're like, is this thing even matter? Like, is this worth the struggle? Should I drop it? Like, are people going to care? Like, what are they going to say about me? Or you could just like kind of go and move your stuff over to the Cliff of Comfort. It's really nice, it's comfortable, you got a great view, but it leads nowhere. Or you could go like to the Fog of Fear, which is this place where you know, maybe you're there right now, and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this job, like where am I? But it's really this fog around you because you don't have a clear vision of what's actually ahead, like what's possible next. The tar pits of approval, the comparison canyon, the comments section. There's no life there. But where you want to get to, where I need you, where the world needs you, is at the campfire. We need you to come to the campfire, this place where for countless years mankind has gathered around a fire for its warmth, for its community, for the stories that we can share with each other, for the gifts we can give, the inspiration, the food we can nourish each other's souls with. Is your classroom this campfire maybe? Maybe this is not Inspiration Island. Maybe this is a campfire too. If you're doing it right, you're going from these different places on the map and you keep coming back to the campfire, either to listen or to share or both. I yesterday shared this idea with some elementary school kids. Pine Grove Elementary, yes, and Phillips, what is that? And I just, it was wind in my sails. It was just so much fun to meet these kids, and I would share with them the map. I would share with them what they could do, and then I gave them a blank sheet of paper. I said, this is not a blank sheet of paper, this is just a big pile of possibility. What do you want to fill this blank sheet of paper with? It's got nothing on it, but could you, this is a challenge, could you fill this blank sheet of paper with the most joyful thing in the world? And we began to ask them that question. What if we were set your sheet of paper into a dark room, could it light it up? Just fill it with whatever you want. So they used their imagination, they began to fill their sheets of paper with really cool things. This is a volcano of love, which is awesome. This is imagination coming out of his fingertips. This one, he said it's me and him being best friends. He's in my suitcase. Oh my goodness, I couldn't handle it. It was the best. This girl made Horseland, which is so great. And apparently at Horseland, you jump into a pool of horses. It's odd, but it made me happy. This kid made his own map, and I love that he was very open. The rain of sadness, the storm of he was really going deep, and he began to kind of open up about where he felt like he was on this map. And no words. You're teachers, you know. This kid decided he was going to fill his sheet of paper with everything awesome in the world. And everything awesome in the world, he had things like books, jokes, screaming kittens. But this is the one that I loved. He had his teacher. And I couldn't breathe. I was floored by that. You think about all of his most favorite things on the planet, and one of them being his teacher. I'm thankful that teacher sings, and that she creates a space where that kid's voice can be heard. So maybe you don't feel like this, but can I tell you that in the musical that is your life, you're perfectly cast? You may feel like they made a mistake, that they should have gotten somebody else. And granted, maybe Meryl Streep would do much better in my role of life. All of us. Let's just have her do it all. But I'm here, and I'm learning that I'm perfectly cast in this role. I have struggled. I can tell you guys this because we're friends now. What's next? Like, I created a video series that really connected with people. I was one time on a bus, and I was complaining to my friends, I don't know what I'm gonna do or write next. And he's like, you made something, people all over, like, we're on this bus right now, and he just goes, hey, who here's heard of Kid President? And then like 10 people raise their hands, like, yeah, oh, I love this. He's like, you made something that you could go on any bus in the world and you could do that. I'm like, that's the problem. What next? What if I make something and nobody watches it? What if I do this thing and nobody cares? I made this pep talk video over 40 million people have now seen. What? I've kept making things and not as many people watch them, or sometimes they do and it really goes somewhere, or sometimes I make something, I'm like, this, I've worked hard, and they go, all right, that's cute. Where's the little president? I'm like, okay. So I've been making things over the past year. I've been writing for television, and I've been writing books, and I've been writing and writing and writing. And you know what? Like, none of them have been released. Like in television, what happens is you rewrite things over 25 times, and then other people will go, hey, we love it. Totally changing it, but we love you. And you get paid, and you're like, okay, great. But nobody's ever gonna see it. Like, and so I was getting thoroughly discouraged. I even said, okay, I'm gonna start directing things for other people. So I directed this thing, and I was really happy about it. And everybody loved it, except for one guy at this brand connected to it. He's like, I hate it, it's too political. Because in it, they said people should be nice to each other. So that's where we are now. And so they scrapped it. It's like nobody's ever going to see it. And so there I was in my workshop going, like, I've been making things, I'm exhausted, and nobody's seeing them. And then the mailman comes in, and he brings in a package, and he's like, well, I always see your building, I never get to come in, like, what do you guys do here? And I thought for a minute, and like way too long of an awkward pause, and I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, all right. Because this started to happen where I was very boldly sharing things, and they would connect, but then slowly, people's perception of the songs I was singing would change. I got asked to write and direct a short film for the United Nations, the world. And they called me, and I made this thing, and then they said, you're going to come out and introduce it. So I got to go to the United Nations. We flew the whole family out, and I made this short film I was really proud of, and I had the speech, and then I get out there to go to the event. My family's in the audience. I go backstage. They're like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm the guy who wrote the thing. I get to give a speech. Brad, like, she goes off, and what's wrong? She comes back, and says, we're so sorry, but they forgot. So I went back into the audience and just slumped into the chair, and sat, she's like, oh, what's going on? When are you up? I was like, I'm not, they forgot. So we got in our car, went back to the hotel room, went home. The end. So, do you know what we posted on social media? This picture, I went to the UN! And then I'm crying as I post that. It's like, what? They forgot? And here I was feeling like if I was being forgotten in the world, like everything's going on. But it is okay because there's still cool things happening. Like, we got to get laptops donated to this school in our neighborhood. I worked like over a year on this, and we were really excited because we're in a rural area and there's not a lot of opportunities. And so we were going to have all this cool technology. Microsoft was working with us, and it made the front page of the paper. This is the picture. There I am. And we got to go on The View too, which is great.
President, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we have been trying to get you on our show for several years now, and I'm so happy you could join us.
Did you see me? No. We had this whole thing like worked out of what we were going to do on the show with Whoopi and me and her and Robbie. It was this whole like bit, and then they send us out to go out in the audience like, yeah, you're over here. This is where I am. Right there. So my mom's like, I saw you on The View. let's don't do this, Mom. But you do these amazing things, and I'm learning that no matter like what incredible thing happens, there's still some sort of little voice inside that tells you maybe you're not enough, that you can forget. And I know that you guys are rock star teachers, but I also know that you're doing the most important job in the world, and yet you feel like maybe you're miscast. Like maybe it's not working, maybe it doesn't matter. We did this is Beyonce finding me adorable. And, she loved me, it was great. We filmed with Beyonce, if you heard of her, and after we filmed, she looked at me, and I was like, that's great. And she looks at me, the guy behind the camera, and goes, is that okay? And I'm like, what? You're Beyonce. Yes, you were. Why are you looking at me? And it hit me because this happened not only with her, it happened with lots of different people. It happened with President Obama. We were in the Oval Office, like his home turf, and after we finished, he's like, is that okay? I can do it again. I'm like, no, you're the president. Look at me. I pull out the list of things I can't do. I can't even afford. You're good, man. And we do these things, and you do these things. We share beautiful things from inside you, and then you're like, am I okay? And you have all of these children around you who are looking at you. Maybe they're not saying it with their words, but they say, am I okay? That's okay? What an incredible opportunity you have to look at them every single day and say, yeah, you're Beyonce. Do you know that? And I want to say this to you, like you're probably like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. You're okay. You're Beyonce. This is a joyful rebellion. You're not just like doing this because you want a job. You're doing this because you are joyfully rebelling against the way things are to create the world as it could be. You are a joy rebel, a possibilitarian. You're somebody who is on the good fight to bring joy and hope to the world. My name is Brad, and that's what I'm trying to do. I have had to learn that maybe the things I make, my best work, might not be seen by 40 million people. My best work might just be what happens with the people next to me. Like maybe my best work will be with my children. Maybe my best work will be as I direct a summer camp. And I spend time face to face with just a handful of kids in the summer. Maybe that's my real masterpiece, the real work of art. Maybe for you, your best work, like you'll get recognized for some program, you'll get recognized for something really cool, but you're fueled by love. You're not fueled by applause. You're fueled by something bigger. So maybe you're discouraged, and I have this advice here for discouraged sailors. And I need you to stop, steady your boat, study your compass, and seek the wind. Anytime a boat is stuck and the sailor's discouraged, they don't know what to do. Maybe this is a room full of discouraged sailors. I hope not, because it's like pretty early in the school year. So, jot this down, okay? Because we need you to pause, steady that boat. Steady that boat. Get back to your compass, and then find the wind. Because we need you out there. We need you. Not just your kids. They need you, but the entire world, like the humanity, we need you. Even you guys in the other room. We need you. So the next thing is very important, it's to remix. So if everything around you is cynicism, how can you turn that to curiosity? If everything around you is noise, how can you actually find beauty? That's one of the things I've been on a quest for, like, in all of the noise that's around us right now, can we find something beautiful? This is Paulo Coelho, who wrote the book The Alchemist, among many other things, and I got to send him a can phone and talk to him. And one of the things he talks about, he doesn't describe himself as a writer, but as an adventurer looking for treasure. And when you see it that way, then you're kind of like, okay, I messed up with that, but I'm going to get to this treasure. I'm doing this, but I'm actually on a quest for treasure. He's an adventurer on a quest for treasure. So I set up a toll-free number, as you do, and I began to ask people, could you leave me a voicemail of something that brings you hope? Like, I want to like tune into a different frequency, so I want to hear what actually is bringing hope to the world. Can you share that with me? And so people actually, yeah, here's the number. They call it. Some people call it multiple times a day. So this is kind of like, they'll go, hey, I just saw this thing. It's really beautiful. Some classrooms have done it, where they'll have different kids share something that brings them hope. And every day, I've got hundreds of these, and here's an example.
There are so many things that give me hope. My niece gives me hope.
Things that give me hope. My kids, the smile on their face.
People being genuinely interested in what other people have to say.
Planting seeds and seeing them sprout brings me hope.
Children who don't see difference.
Avocados give me hope because they're not much to look at from the outside, but they are delicious.
I love it. See you.
It's been incredible. Some people just laugh and then they hang up. They're like, oh, it's real. And then my friend's like, what are you going to do with this? I go, I don't know, but it's feeding my soul. Like, I love it. So we've been like putting them together to create this big, hopeful audio project we're going to find a way to unleash on the world. So you can call that. But in finding the beauty in all the noise, I wanted to invite you into a story. And I had to fly here, and I didn't want anybody to mess with my story. So I put it in a box. And it says this is just an ordinary box. That way they would know it's nothing important. And but inside is a story I wanted to share with you today. Is it okay? Okay. Other room? Yeah. By the way, I feel bad for the other room. I wanted to do something for them. So here's the thought I had was corn dogs. There's a problem because you can't like fly with frozen corn dogs. It's just gross. So we've arranged for the other room to do something really special. Can we do this, John? Are you okay?
I'm a possibilitarian. So.
Yeah! So, it's good bad. Okay, so I'm about to share this story with you guys, but the other room, like, I'm going to do an extra session today at 2 o'clock, a special story time, and they're getting tickets right now. Can you pass them out, guys? You got it? Pass the tickets out? Good? This feels good. So yeah, I'm going to be sharing some stories today, and you guys are invited as well. It's 2 o'clock in here. That's good? Is it? Oh, yeah, good. So this is a story that has been helping me, and I want to share it with you. Now, it's about birds and the songs that birds sing, and here we go. So now, all the birds sing beautiful songs, right? It's what they were made to do. But every now and then, like us, even birds forget that too. I meet this little bird named Rodney. He's shy as he can be. He sits all alone, just quiet in his tree. One day, a squirrel, who's poorly drawn, was Rodney's friend, climbed up and asked him, why? You sit up here all day in your tree? Bird friend, why are you so shy? Well, Rodney the bird lowered his head and softly began to cry. He said, you're my friend. Here goes. I have no reason to lie. All the other birds sing with such ease, like Cardinal, Claire, James. I like James. But I could never sing like them. You see, my song just doesn't sound the same. I'm really into hip-hop. Laying down sick beats. The squirrel looked a bit confused, and Rodney said, here, let me show you what I mean. So Rodney pulled out a microphone and hit play on his tape machine, and then began to bust rhymes like nothing the trees or woods had ever seen. Rhymes that filled and shook the branches and lit up the woods that day, the sound of which all the other birds simply couldn't look away. What is Rodney doing? Asked one bird. Others asked, is something wrong? I'm not sure what I'm hearing, but I don't think it's called a song. Did he just take a piece from Cardinal and mix it with a piece directly from Claire? I think that's called a remix, said one bird. The birds had never thought to share. He would take one song from another bird and mix it with another song. That's all wrong. But he was creating something even bigger, an even better beautiful song. Well, some of the birds were upset. Some left and yelled nasty tweets. But many of them hung around to hear even more of Rodney's strange new beats. Rodney hadn't realized just how far his song had spread. For all these years, he'd kept the music locked up inside his head. But now all around him, birds were dancing as far as his eyes could see, and that's what happens when you're brave enough to sing the song you were made to sing. So sing on, dear birds. Sing right now, the song that must be sung. The world needs your new different music, and birds, you're the ones. Don't keep your songs locked away for fear the other birds you might annoy. The world's in need of little birds like you who bravely sing with joy. Sing on, dear birds. Sing on. I have a map here for somebody if you want that. Yeah, there you go. I want you to find your way to the campfire to share your song. I want you to create an environment where other kids feel open, that their voices matter. That story is one that I kept hidden away for a long time, and then just was like, I'm going to post it. I'm going to do it. And it connected with lots of people. It's one of those things that took on a life of its own, where it's been used in classrooms and businesses, where they find ways to use it. Sesame Workshop has been using it. This is a table decoration some people made. Somebody mailed me a bird, thankfully it was not a real one. All because I shared my voice, inviting other people to share theirs. And I believe, like you believe, that every note belongs in the symphony, which requires us to listen for the melody, to listen for the places where people can be joined in. And the music is all around you, even though sometimes it's hard to hear amongst all the noise and cynicism. Can you find the possibility? This is a video from an astronaut. When you think about a possibilitarian, you think about somebody who's been to space, right? This is Commander Ron Garan. And I asked him why so many people have a dark vision of the future, and here's one of the things he shared.
There's something about being, detached from the only planet you've ever known that makes you realize how we're all in this together, and we have all these amazing problems, these seemingly intractable problems. And what really hits you in space is it doesn't have to be that way. The reason why they're seemingly intractable is because we don't know how to work together. We think that there's us and them. If something happens on one side of the planet, natural disaster or some kind of tragedy, we think, if you're altruistic, you think, oh, those poor people over there. But that's the wrong way to think. It's not those poor people over there, that's us.
That's us. If your music is not shared in the symphony, we're missing a vital note. That's us. If there's a child who doesn't feel like their voice matters, all of the world is missing out. If there's somebody who feels unimportant and they hide away, and we don't unlock the possibility within them, we've lost something important. I think not only about children, but about some of the many voices that have maybe hidden things away. Maybe there's a cave of untold stories and unsung songs, where things that should have been shared with the world are still hidden. The greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places, Roald Dahl. But one of my friends was in a nursing home and told me about a lady he met named Martha. And Martha's the lady that everybody just sort of thought, oh, she's the sweet old grandmotherly lady. When actually she's really sassy and writes kids music. And she had been writing it for years, and a lot of people didn't realize she had been writing music. She had countless pieces of music. And she would sit at the cafeteria and began playing, and they discovered that she had all of these songs inside of her. This is a clip of the lovely Martha. You get ready to fall in love.
What are you doing? you still doing them? Lord help. Where are you going? Where are you going, my fair lady? Where are you going? Where are you going? Going to the fair.
I love her so much. She has these songs about orthopedic shoes. She has songs about everything. And what I love is that she had this, and now she's come to life as they share them. They brought her into a recording studio, got people to sing some of her music, and she's beaming, just loving it.
Home, it's time to get up.
That's her song she sings at the nursing home when she doesn't want to get up. I love that. So what I thought would be really wonderful today as we close out, I would like to film you singing one of her songs. Would you guys like to sing one of her songs for her? Or just share this with Martha and let her know that anything is possible even in her old age. Because sometimes singing the song, I was on an airplane and I sat by somebody who was a gardener, and I was like, I got a question for you. When I was a kid, there was an old man who sang the flowers. Is that a thing? And the gardener was like, well, they say there was a German like botanist who found that maybe it might work, and I don't know. It's kind of false. But I said, but do you sing to your plants? He said, yes. And he said, because it calms me. Maybe the song isn't for the growth of the plants around us. Maybe it's for us. If you strengthen the grown-up, maybe we strengthen the children around us. We strengthen the voices of our own. We strengthen the voice of all those around us. I hope that you can sing to your flowers. I hope that you can invite them to sing as well. Sonia Sotomayor asked this question. She's the Supreme Court Justice. She doesn't ask people what they do. I met her and she asked me, what do you love about what you do? And it changed everything for me, where it became less about what I do and more about, what do I love about what I do? Because that's, when you see somebody love what they do, it's like you're seeing them sing a beautiful song. It's like you're hearing an orchestra play. I need you guys to go from Inspiration Island, the Wonder Mountain, Doubt Valley, wherever you are. We need you at the campfire to sing with us. Go from the Mines of Hudson to the campfire to sing your song.
Important.
Because it's very important. So this is for Martha. We're all going to sing this song. I'm going to get out this. And the words are on the screen. It's a very simple song. And I will be your fearless song leader. And this is going to be so ridiculous. And I love it. Okay, so hi Martha, it's Brad again, and I'm here with some friends on the West Coast. Can you say hi? Hi! And there's even people in the other room, in the whole other room. But we're going to sing Going to the Fair. You guys ready? Here we go, Possibilitarians Unite. This is Going to the Fair. All right. Let's stand up and sing. Come on. Here we go. Where are you going? Where are you going, my fair lady? Where are you going? Where are you going? Going to the fair. What will you do there? What will you do there, my fair lady? What will you do there? What will you do there? Going to the fair. All right, a kangaroo there, that's what I'll do there, my fair lady. All right, a kangaroo there, that's what I'll do there, going to the fair. What will you wear there? What will you wear there, my fair lady? What will you wear there? What will you wear there, going to the fair? A flower in my hair there, that's what I'll wear there, my fair. Flower in my hair there, that's what I'll wear there, going to the fair. All right, then over here. What will you eat there? What will you eat there, my fair lady? Ladies, some taters and meat there, that's what I'll eat there, my fair lady. Some taters and meat there, that's what I'll eat there, last verse, here we go. I'll see thee there, that's what I'll see there, my fair lady. I'll see me there, that's what I'll see there, going to the fair. Going, 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 going to the fair. Sing on,